Here we go. Welcome to the September edition of the Fruition Local Food Showcase. Every month through 2021, CCE features 3 different producers who are making a difference in our food system. You too can make a difference. Every day you have an opportunity to be a part of a time-honored tradition. When community members purchase directly from the farmers and food businesses featuring farm products, the benefits are fantastic. In addition to the delicious taste and freshness, you're playing an essential role in helping ensure that farms are celebrated and supported so that they will continue to be part of our foodscapes long into the future. My name is Flip, and I work at the Extension Learning Farm here in Canton. I have the great pleasure of serving the ag community by offering technical assistance to people making value-added products and food products here in New York State. But I also get to connect with the community to make sure our residents know and are excited about the foods that are available here in St. Lawrence County. So the magic and the joy of cooking is amped up 1,000 degrees by knowing what to cook, where to find it, and how to use it in the kitchen. So September is certainly known for its abundance and for its variety. So the crops have soaked up the sun and the rain from the warm summer months and are ready to be harvested. So tonight we feature a cross-section of St. Lawrence County ag businesses, from a producer revitalizing a handful of local orchards to a farmer who's nearing their 40th year of organic production in one site, and a multi-generational dairy that's diversified into beef. So I'll interview each of our guests for 15 minutes, and at the close of their interview, they've generously donated prizes from their businesses. So there's tasty food for you too. First up is Joel Howie of Canton Apples, and then you'll get to meet Dulli Tengeler of Birdsfoot Farm, and we'll close out the program with Alan Chester of C&M Beef. But before we welcome our first guest, we want to make sure you know what prizes are available and how you have the chance to win. So we'll get Lauren in here, our local foods marketing and development educator. Hey there, Lauren.
Hi, Flip.
So what are the prizes for tonight's viewers?
Well, we've got quite the lineup tonight. We have a bag of fresh apples and a selection of fresh seasonal ciders from Canton Apples to give away, first off. Then we have a $25 gift certificate to Birdsfoot Farm, and you can grab that at the Canton Farmers Market on Tuesdays and Fridays. And last, we will have a $25 gift certificate to C&M Beef, and you can get that at their farm store.
Excellent. So how do they get entered for a chance to win one of these prizes?
Yep. So to enter for a chance to win some of these prizes this evening, you can click the link below in the comments, and by clicking the link and filling out a short prize form, you'll be signed up for our Fruition Local Foods blog that we put together here at CCE and entered for a chance to win the prizes this evening. If you've already filled out the form from previous showcases, be sure to enter again tonight and just check the appropriate box. Everyone watching tonight gets a chance to win a prize.
Yeah, something that's cool. So it's free and easy to sign up for a chance. We just started the Fruition live stream this year, but we also, as Lauren mentioned, started the local food blog. So you can find everything there, from homesteading and gardening tips to information directly about the farmers in our region and what they're producing and how to find the food. So it sounds like we'll see you after the first interview, Lauren.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So once you know how to recognize the majestic sprawl of an apple tree, you can spot them all along the roadways and fields of St. Lawrence County. And tonight we feature a producer who was inspired by this hardy northern fruit to create a unique business. Canton Apples has evolved tonight through its decades serving the region, and I want to welcome owner Joel Howie to share with us about his path with fruit. Welcome, Joel.
Hi, Flip. How are you?
All is well.
Yeah. Good.
I imagine there's lots going on in your world these days, so we'd love to
yes.
learn more about Canton Apples.
Great. We've been pretty busy lately. We've been busy making our own cider and bagging apples, attending farmers markets, and stocking the apple stand that we have out at on Route 310, just north of Canton Village. And that picture is my son, who is 14 years old, and he is also featured on the label on our cider bottles when he was about a year and a half old, eating I think it's a Honeycrisp apple. So he's pretty famous, I guess.
Yeah, so is he embarrassed by a 1-year-old picture of him slapped on all the bottles, or is he proud?
It depends on who is in front of us speaking at the time.
As long as it's not one of his friends, maybe, or someone
That's
from
right.
school.
That's right.
So what's unique about Canton Apples?
So we grow heirloom and uncommon apples mostly. We do have some common commercial apples, more like Honeycrisp or Macintosh, but we try to keep specialized in heirloom apples and preserving the old heritage lines, like St. Lawrence variety. We have Dudley, Lodi, Ashmead's Kernel, Golden Russet. We also have some earlier summer apples like Yellow Transparent and Early Harvest.
So what do you like about all of those apples? People have probably heard of the Macintoshes and the Cortlands, but what do you enjoy about those other varieties of apples?
I like how diverse they are in usage. I was not aware when I started the orchard business about 10 years ago that apples have so many different uses. I learned early on that a lot of hard cider makers are really looking for these uncommon varieties because supposedly it makes really nice hard ciders because of the acids and tannins that are in the different apples. So I thought it would be a good idea to just preserve them and plant more. And through the St. Lawrence Nurseries catalog, I learned that I can continue to expand our orchard.
Yeah, that's a neat interplay of two local area businesses that you're able to find trees and varieties that you like from the Cold Hardy Tree Nursery, St. Lawrence Nurseries in Potsdam. I think something else that's interesting about your business that folks might not know, that you actually manage several orchards in the area, and then they can purchase your products at one location. Can you tell us more about that?
That's correct. So I started on, probably everybody knows the location. It's the old Vanderwater property on Russell Road, just south of Canton Village. I started working there out of a favor for a friend who was helping the owner take care of the trees. And so I was helping her prune and mow. And after a day or two, she just basically said, "It's all yours, have at it." So I took it from there. And my son was 4 at the time when I opened the U-Pick there, and learned that there was great demand for local apples. We sold out year after year, and then I started looking around for some other orchards. So I found another one on Finnegan Road in Canton that's about 6 acres, and I think 41 varieties located at that orchard. And luckily enough, the owners had a map of all the trees that were planted back in I think the late 80s is when that one was established.
Yeah, there's a very, very small orchard at the Learning Farm, and one of the most common questions that I get is, what varieties are in here? And I sure wish we could find a map. Because there's so many varieties.
It's important to record what you plant, that's for sure.
So it sounds like you at one point started out with the U-Pick, and then you shifted in, and now you're doing pre-picked apples, and you have the active farm stand. But we'd love to learn more about your cider and your path with becoming certified, New York grown and certified as a craft beverage producer supplier, but also making cider and selling it, and also selling it to other folks. Sure.
So I got into making cider with a friend of mine, Martin Bregg, who owns Bregg Winery. He came to me actually and wanted to, propose to ask me if I would supply him apples to use to make cider as the base for all his wines. So all his wines are apple based using our cider. It was going to take him a while to go through the permit process, probably a year and a half or so. And I suggested, well, let's make sweet, fresh pressed cider to begin with, and just to get the cash flowing. And that was 5 years ago. And here we are today. We're making fresh pressed cider and also supplying Martin with enough juice to make his own wines.
So what's the difference? I've seen on your label that you have a UV treatment system for your fresh ciders. What are the different ways that you can? How did you choose the UV treatment? I guess what I'm curious about.
Yeah, so part of New York State law, cider must be treated for pathogens, basically. And UV treatment is a system which is it's ultraviolet light. And it does not heat the cider in any way, like pasteurization does, to kill any bacteria or anything that could be in the cider. So I feel it maintains more of the natural flavors and consistency of cider, which is one of the reasons we chose to go with the UV treatment system rather than pasteurization.
I've seen your ciders and apples, I guess, popping up in different stores and locations, but I bet there's probably some partnerships that people don't necessarily know about. Could you tell us how you collaborate with other businesses or restaurants or other people in the area in terms of your fruit?
Sure. Yeah. So we supply a lot of cider around the area to different retailers, and I think it's important to be able to get our product out to far-reaching areas too. So, so we distribute as far as Malone. I also have a customer in Penfield, New York. They make hard cider with some of our heirloom apples, and they've actually named a lot of their cider after the variety of the apple, which is a Minnesota russet. They make what's called Mini Bomber. It's using a Minnesota russet and a Balmer, Balmer apple combined, but they spell it Minibomber, which is pretty creative, I thought. But I think just reaching out and talking to people is one of the reasons we've grown and expanded our coverage area. And just talking to other business owners also to ask them, hey, do you want to carry our cider? And here's a sample. Most of the time they say, sure. So we have weekly deliveries with most of our retailers.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes I think people are like, what is the magic bullet to making new relationships and having your products around? And it's like, well, be persistent and friendly and just keep getting out there, and don't be afraid to hear no a couple times, but just keep at it. And it seems like you've really done that effectively to keep finding new spots that you could partner with, or they could sell your products. That's correct.
I think consistency is very important to just be there a lot, and to just to keep the phone lines open, always communicate with the other businesses. Also be timely. If you say you're going to deliver a certain time, certain day, make sure you can deliver and follow through with it.
I've got hopefully Matt Carney wants to actually know, slightly off topic, but probably other people might like to know if they're curious about apples. But he would like to know if anybody or you have an idea for an inexpensive but effective press for a very small producer. Probably lots of sets are looking for something like that.
Yep. So we started with Lankman Presses, sold by Owesco Incorporated in Massachusetts. It's a bladder. It's called a bladder press, and you just thread a garden hose to it, and the bladder fills with water pressure and pushes the apple mash against an outside ring, and it forces the juice out. And we use those for the first couple of years. But then I designed and built a cloth and rack press, and the fabricators at Mud Lake Stalls in Lisbon built the whole thing for me out of stainless steel. So we can produce about 5 times more than the Lankman presses could produce in a day.
Yeah, it's great having Mud Lake stalls around to do projects.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard of other projects that they've done for folks. That's pretty great. I am not in the, I don't know what they're producing these days, but Good Nature Presses used to have some smaller presses out, maybe like Buffalo or Rochester way, Good Nature. But I can't promise you they're inexpensive, Matthew. I don't know about that.
Yeah, cider equipment, it can add up very quickly, which is the reason I went to design and build my own, because the cost was way up there. But you can build your own out of go to Harbor Freight and buy like a bearing press type frame and a jack and build your own racks and cloth. There's a lot of different things you could do. Just look on YouTube. There's all sorts of ideas for homemade presses out there.
So if folks visit your farm store on 310, what will they find?
So on 310, it's just a small skid shed right now where we sell apples and cider. And that's the inside of our shed. That's Cameron. He used to work for me. He helps me part-time now. He's moved on in his career. But we sell fresh apples and ciders from the farm stand.
Nice. And so you shared kind of a wild recipe with me. Do you want to tell people about the inspiration for this apple nachos?
Yeah, my friend Beth Larrabee actually, and I don't know if she invented it, but she's the one that showed me this recipe. It consists of sliced apples on a plate, and you can use whatever you want for topping. You could use fluff, Cool Whip. I would choose real whipped cream, and top it with peanuts or a caramel sauce. Or I also thought that maybe dobs of peanut butter on it would taste really good. I love peanut butter and apples. That's always a nice snack. And she threw some mini M&Ms on it. I just thought it was a pretty good idea.
Nice. Well, I want to make sure folks know where to find your stuff. We put up the slide to say some of those locations that you were at, but your farm stand, how late is it usually open in the season? We've got your hours to share with the group.
Usually when we start getting into a hard freeze is when I close the stand, because it's not insulated or heated. So probably in the beginning of November-ish is when we stop selling from there, or whenever we run out of apples and cider. But we are staffed Fridays 2 to 5, Saturdays and Sundays 10 to 5. But we also have self-serve always open. I have a light at the shed so that you can just stop in for pre-bagged apples, and you just stick the money in the honor jar on the porch.
And it sounds like your ciders you're making are rotating in flavors, and you've got some new ones this week.
That's correct. We found some pears, New York State pears, so we were able to make apple and pear cider today, and we are well stocked, hopefully, going into this weekend. And we will also have apple and grape, I think, next week. And we've transitioned to our fall cider from our summer blend, which we are completely out of summer blend for this season. And apple and cranberry, that's another really popular one. We buy the cranberries from the bog in near Helena in Brazier, New York. So we try to keep things as locally produced products.
What else would you like folks to know about Canton Apples, Joel?
Boy, that's a good question. We're a growing business. Every year, it seems that we sell out of cider quicker and quicker daily. Last week, we had a full day of production on Thursday, and we were sold out of cider by Friday at 2 o'clock. And we have never, ever done that before. But hopefully with this week pressing 2 or 3 days this week, we can try to keep up with the demand. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that speaks to the deliciousness
yes.
of the cider. Well, excellent. I really appreciate you taking the time, Joel. And it sounds like folks should find you at the Canton Farmers Market or at your farm stand on 310.
Thank you.
We're going to thank you also so much for generously donating the prize. I think it's time to raffle off your gift.
Great. I'm excited to see who wins.
Awesome. Okay, so we better get Lauren back in here because it's time for the first prize giveaway. Hello, Lauren.
Hey, Flip. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you know why the apple pie cried?
Why?
Because its peelings were hurt.
Oh, ouch.
Very good.
You do love puns. I remember that about you.
I do. So stay tuned for more puns.
So what is our first prize?
We have a bag of apples and a selection of some of those delicious ciders that Joel just mentioned.
So the winner can win a pint each of the fall cider, the apple cranberry, and also his newest apple pear blend. So let's get this winner.
All right, and I will spin. That looks like Rose. Congratulations. Nice.
I think Rose has a lucky bone in her body because that's a familiar name. Congratulations, Rose. We'll email you with information about how to collect your prize. And thank you again so much, Canton Apples and Joel Howie. Lauren, we'll see you in a few. What's the next prize?
We are going to give away a $25 gift certificate to Birdsfoot Farm.
Awesome. So folks can redeem it at their farm stand at the Canton Farmers Market. So we'll see you in a few minutes after we get chat with Dulli.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so next on our program, we welcome a farmer who's been raising produce for over 30 years here right in Canton, New York, mainstay of the Canton Farmers Market. Birdsfoot Farm is an intentional community that has had significant positive impact right here in Northern New York, attracting generations of people to settle here in the region. And next month actually marks the 50th anniversary of Birdsfoot. So tonight we learn more about the farm and the community and how they raise their produce and where you can find it. So let's welcome Dulli.
Hello.
Hi, Dulli.
Hello.
So I bet many people have heard of Birdsfoot, but they may not know much about the specifics. So tell us about the farm.
So we're a small farm outside of Canton, 5 miles on the Canton-Russell Road. And there is 72 acres and about 2 acres in production for vegetables. And I live in a community. That means there's right now about 10 of us with 2 children. And we share the land. And an intentional community means that we choose to live together because we share a lot of the same values. We don't want or can't afford our own farm, but together we can. And we buy our firewood together, our propane, our food. And everybody has a cook night and a cleaning chore. And yeah, so there's the old barn and main house that's from the 1850s. And then we have 6 other houses that were built throughout the years on the land that are off-grid. Everything is with compost toilets. And we have 29 solar panels on the barn roof that supplies the farm with solar energy.
One thing I like when I hear you talking about Birdsfoot, I've heard you talk about kind of the joy of doing things collectively and having a chance to share in some of the seasons and turning the work of the season into a more joyful process. And I think that's something really interesting about your community.
Yeah, the work days start in the spring with cleaning the windows and chimneys, and then we move into processing peas and beans and basil and tomatoes. We're just about done with tomatoes and moving into apples next. And in the winter, we relax and can eat all the yummy things we put away. And we do it sometimes together. Sometimes we take turns. I might get the jars ready, like 50 to 70 jars. And then the next group will cut the tomatoes. And then I come in later and finish the canning while I make cheese. And yeah, it definitely makes a lot more fun together than having to do it all by yourself.
So you've been at Birdsfoot for a little while. Could you tell us how you found your way to the farm?
Yeah, I grew up in Hamburg, Germany, and that's a big city, 1.5 million. And since I was 10, I wanted to farm mostly with cows, really. And I finished high school and then did 2-year apprenticeship in Germany and then 3 years of farming college. And I did my semester abroad in the US, visiting farming communities because I wanted to farm and live in community. And Birdsfoot was one of them. And I had no intention of ever living in the States, but I met my husband here, Steve. And so I came back a year later and joined the community, and we built a house, and I joined the veggie business, and still here 30 years later, happy.
Yeah, so you raised the family there at Birdsfoot and saw the evolution of the farm and many families raising their kids and people coming and growing, apprentices over the years. You've had a chance to meet a lot of people, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think we probably had well over 100 or 200 interns in the 40 years. In the early years, we had everybody was working in the veggie business, and it was income sharing in the very early years. When I came, it was everybody pays food and rent and helps with the work days. And a lot of people that come and live at Birdsfoot had been here before as interns or workers for a while, and then they do their thing and then they come back and try it for longer. And currently there's 10 of us with 2 children. And we have 2 neighbors who also participate in the meals and meetings. Our meetings are bi-weekly, and we work with consensus. That means everybody has to agree before something can be changed. Yeah. So what was the question? I got here. Yeah. Was that the question? Raised family. I have a son and daughter, and then there's other kids here. And the nice thing is that, like, the other people are like second parents to our kids, and we're second parents to some of the other kids. And it's really a lot easier to raise your kids when there's a whole bunch of other grown-ups around that help out here and there.
Yeah, it does seem like a very lively place to interact with folks of all ages, which is pretty neat. I'd love to hear more about the produce and all the vegetables that you grow. What do you raise at Birdsfoot?
So Birdsfoot Farm has a CSA, and that's just the farmer's market. We say at the Canton Farmers Market on Tuesdays and Fridays. That's Bob on the left, and I'm mostly at the farm keeping it together while he sells. And then we have this year 30-member CSA, and then we sell wholesale at the Potsdam Food Co-op and Nature Storehouse, and through the Growers Co-op, North Country Grown Co-op. And so we start the spring with greens and spinach and cilantro, and then as we get into June and July, we add the beets and carrots, and then later on the zucchinis. We still have zucchinis. And tomatoes and potatoes. Oh, spinach. Yeah, lots of spinach. We used to be a big spinach farm, but we grow so much spinach that we had so much disease that we had to slow down a little bit. But it's still there. Yeah. I think one of our specialties is our mixed greens, where we grow 6 different varieties of lettuce and spinach and other herbs like dill and fennel and shingiku and mizuna, to make it interesting, and mix it all up and rinse it and spin it and bag it up. And it's very delicious. And I think that's a mark of our farm, the greens. Then in August, in middle of July, we have our garlic festival every year where we harvest 10,000 garlics. And it's a lot easier to peel when it's fresh. So we invite friends and customers and people who want to come by to help peel for 2 days, and then we hang it. On the right here you see the dirty garlic. That's the seed garlic that we don't peel, and on the left it's all been peeled and gets hung in bunches to dry for a month. And yeah, we retail and wholesale that. That's another one of our main crops. And the festival has been really fun. We have live music, and for the last 2 years the Arts Council has come with people who do art while we do the garlic festival. So we've been drawing tractors and garlic and people peeling garlic, and it's a nice connection. We met new people, and this year some of the artists just wanted to peel the whole time from last year that had drawn.
Yeah, something great about garlic harvest is I think all ages and abilities is a way to plug in, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
What about your community-supported agriculture or CSA shares? Would you share more with folks about those?
Yeah, we are relatively small. We have 30 members. We would take more. And with that, we can be individualized. People have the name on the box. And if there's something they don't like cilantro or beets or fennel, we write on no, none of that and what they like. Or if somebody wants to go on vacation for a week or two, they can stop the box and pick it up again when they come back. And you get what's in season. Some people do where you have choices what you pick up, but we will pack the box for you and you just come and pick it up and take what's in it. And that will be your dinner for the week or lunch. It's good for me because then I can move the things that I have. And it's good for the customer because we give what we have out. So it's not like just 5 different things. You might get 10 or 15 different things because that's what's in right now. And I try not to overwhelm people with too much food. So I think it's a good choice. Or for people that like more greens, they can add on extra lettuce and extra greens of chard or spinach or collards every week, or flowers. Or some people prefer having the mixed greens instead of a head of lettuce, and they can add on to that and pay extra.
I'm sure you know I have a fondness for CSA, but one thing I particularly like about it is, especially maybe if someone is new to the area or has moved here, you could really get a sense of what does it mean to eat from our soils. So what does June look like versus August versus October? And you even have a winter CSA, so there's shares in the winter time. And I think that's it really is a light bulb for people, I think, sometimes to be connected with just getting a sense of where are we and what grows well and what foods can we support and learn how to enjoy.
Yeah, and we have our bi-weekly newsletter usually, and there we give some recipes and stories from the farm and what hardships we go through, what fun we have, and you kind of become part of it, you know. You can participate emotionally as much as you like. And it's really nice for me, for the people that pick up at the farm. I get to see them and chat with them and see what's going on in their lives. And, I've been friends with many of them for many years. So it's like family.
So you are one of a handful of certified organic produce farms in the area. Why is organic certification important to you?
I believe in it. That's how I want to eat, and that's how I would like other people to eat. And with the certification, we sort of have the stamp that we follow those agreements on how to grow without pesticides, without artificial fertilizers, non-GMO, and we use a lot of old varieties also. And I feel like certification with NOFA is really for small farms that mean what they do and not just do it for the money or I guess for the money. Sorry. Yes. I mean, I deeply believe in it, and it really helps with the wholesale. You can't really get a higher price unless you are certified. With the retail, it's not so important because people that know you trust you. But we do some wholesaling, and therefore I like the stamp. And I like to support NOFA, who's given us many years of advice and ideas. And the NOFA conferences, who are for farmers and consumers, have so many wonderful workshops where you can learn all kinds of ideas about eating and farming. So I highly recommend that if anybody wants to go there.
Yeah, so NOFA, in case folks haven't heard of it before, is the Northeast Organic Farming Association. So there's a chapter in New York, but there's ones throughout all Massachusetts, Vermont, etc. So there's a winter conference every January here in New York State that offers a range of programs from homesteading to commercial production. We have just a couple more minutes, but we haven't gotten to a few things, but I want to make sure if there's anything you want to make sure to mention, but I guess I'm just sort of curious. I think it's come through your excitement about food production and stuff, but what do you love about farming and growing food for others?
Being outside. I like being my own boss. I like that I get up in the morning. I just have 10, 20 or 30 things I can do. There's never a dull moment. And you do everything. You plant it, you seed it, weeding, harvesting, marketing, fixing the tractor, figuring out how the deer got in. There's and every season is different. I'm still learning 30 years later. It's not boring, and through the season different things happen, so it's always progressing. And I'm getting to be the deep down tired now. I'm looking forward to shorter days in the winter, but it's wonderful to reap the harvest from all the work and the hard work we did. And I want to say we hire up to 5 part-time workers every year, local people mostly, that can have meaningful work. And that is a lot of fun to have, not be alone out there, to have the conversation and the help.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think people sometimes have really mixed up ideas about farmers, but just as you said, you have to be the problem solver. You have endless things that you're working on and constantly working towards, and no one else is going to do it for you. You have to have that larger vision, and whether you're working with others or not, you have to keep the ball moving forward. And I think that is the fantastic, it's like the heel and the most amazing thing both about food production, that you're the person and there's endless problem solving.
Yeah, and I feel a deep connection with the plants and the earth, and that's been for a long time. And just seeing them grow and the life force in them and developing and wanting to be the best they can and making seeds and flowers and fruit that we can eat. And I had an experience where I spent 2 hours bringing all the roots in from the cooler into the basement, because the cooler was starting to freeze in November. And I moved, I think, a ton of veggies or something, 2,000 pounds. And I was exhausted because it was Thanksgiving Day. Everybody else had gone to Thanksgiving dinner. And I was down there and I closed the last lid of the 55-gallon barrels that keep the rodents out. And this stream of energy came through me, and it was like, here we are all together again, we made it. And it was like the energy came from the roots, it was really lovely. And I hope when I have more time and not so busy that I can actually learn to communicate with them better. That's something very exciting to me to look forward.
So I have to know, you've spent decades now raising vegetables, but as I understand it, your deepest love is for cows. So
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, when I was 10, we started. Well, since I was 3, we went on vacation to the Baltic Sea, where we could rent a room on an old dairy farm, and I was much more excited about the cows than about the beach. And I started to learn milking, and I thought I would be a dairy farmer one day. And then I wanted to live in community because I knew it was so much work to milk twice a day and do all that. And Birdsfoot happened to be a vegetable farm where I found my husband and my friends. And but when Kira was 9 years ago, she wanted cows. And I said, that's when I wanted cows. I was 10. And so we got a cow, and now we have 2. And we have cheese and yogurt and butter and ice cream and quark, and you name it, we make it. And it's wonderful to have all that addition. And they just totally calm me down, and is a deep friendship there. That's Goldie on the left and Carol on the right.
Yeah, they do look like sweethearts, that's for sure.
Oh, they're both Goldie, actually. Yeah, they are. They're really sweet.
So we just have a minute or so left, Dulli. I did want to mention, I remember that you said that signups are still open for your winter share, but I was curious if there's anything else that you wanted to add.
Yeah, we just started the student share 2 weeks ago. People can rolling sign up for that too. That goes to the middle of December. And the winter share will go from in 2 weeks till the end of January. And then for those folks that still want to keep going with what's left in the root cellar, which becomes less and less, they can go until it's gone. And we had a lot of fun doing that last year for the first time, where I would just come to town and say, I'm coming, do you want carrots, potatoes, and squash and garlic? And they said, sure, bring it over. And then it just keeps going, I guess, until spring.
There's also something great to mention, whether people want to buy food at the farmers markets or for a community supported agriculture share, that for bonus bucks through Garden Share, the area nonprofit, they offer a cost sharing. So you accept bonus bucks. So that's a way for people to sign up for a share, but reduce the total cost.
Yeah, we also allow market spend down, where you can put down $50 or whatever amount you want, and then just spend it over the season. That way you commit yourself to support our farm. And I want to say that if you can commit yourself to spending just $10 a week, if you have it locally on anything local, you know, it feels really good to know the person or the farmer or the person that made the pottery or the weavings or grew the eggs or whatever. That it is a good feeling to know you support those people, and it's a good start. Like when I buy jam from somebody, I know it tastes different when I eat it on my homemade bread.
Yeah, I love that, making a commitment and kind of sticking with that to keep that going and not just try it on a whim and move on. We really loved chatting with you, Dulli. Thanks so much for joining us on the program. We've got a coupon for our Birdsfoot Farm for someone to win to bring to the Canton Farmers Market. Thank you for generously donating that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Have a great season.
Yep. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah.
Where is Lauren, the prize master? Here we go.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Well, since you know the prize that we're giving away, $25 gift certificate to Birdsfoot Farm that you can spend at the market in Canton, I'm going to have to ask you another question, Flip.
I'm ready.
How do you turn soup into gold?
How do I turn soup into gold? I don't know how.
You put 14 carrots in it.
Oh, wah.
It's a good one.
Nice. Good. Veggie specific. Okay. Ready for the prize?
Oh yeah, let's spin the wheel here. And spinning. And it looks like Mackenzie.
Congratulations, Mackenzie. We will email you details so you can claim your prize of fresh produce from Birdsfoot Farm at the Canton Farmers Market. All right, one more chance to win. What's the final prize, Lauren?
It is a gift certificate to C&M Beef for their farm store, where they have a lot of great products in there.
Excellent. So we'll see you in a few minutes after we chat with Alan.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Lauren. Okay, well, now it's time. Maybe you have heard of C&M Dairy before, but what about C&M Beef? We're going to get Alan in here so you can learn all about this multi-generational farm and the way that it's diversified over the years. Welcome,
Hi.
Alan.
Well, thank you, Flip. How are you this evening?
All is well. I imagine you're deep in. I imagine late September. There's a lot going on over there.
Yep, the corn choppers are rolling, and just pulled in about a half hour ago, shut down for the day. So everything is running wide open at this point.
Okay. Well, tell us more about C&M Beef.
Okay, C&M Beef was something that kind of came to tuition by, well, we always made meat sticks and stuff at Tri-Town, and boy, those are good. I bet we could sell these. So then we tried selling some, and then I said, geez, we got in a little trouble with the USDA because those weren't inspected with a sticker on them. So then he came to the farm and politely told us we couldn't sell them. But they did tell us that if you have a USDA sticker on it, you can sell anything you want. So that's kind of how we said, well, geez, if we can sell everything, let's just try it. And so we were using younger heifers at the time to do that, and that's how it got started. And then when COVID hit and everybody got nervous of their supply of meat and all those changes that we went through in the last year, it got real crazy. So we right off the bat contacted with the butchers, and we lined up slots every month. So that was one of the first things we did. And then we said, well, geez, if we're going to do this, then we ought to have a little store or something, a nice building for people to come to, make it a nice activity or a nice time for them. And so then we put a store on the farm, and then, well, that one thing leads to another. And if you're going to do it, I was concerned about not having inventory. I wanted to make sure if people were coming to the store to buy product, that we consistently had product. So then we bought, and you couldn't find any freezers last year, so then we bought some walk-in freezers and put them on the farm. And so it all kind of snowballed. And what you see here is a picture of my wife in the store with it's just a little Amish shed that we insulated and finished off the inside. We've got 3 different freezers in there for steaks and hamburgers and roast and pork. The cooler you see in the back, we carry Cabot cheese, because that was one of the things we wanted to try and be a standout, is that we'd sell products that the farm contributed to. So we're an Agrimart member. Our milk goes to Cabot cheese and goes to Chateauguay to make Cabot cheese. So we carry Cabot products. And we added a few little things that aren't from the farm. A good friend of mine, his brothers bottle the milk on their farm. So we carry King Brothers milk, and we carry whole white chocolate. And then they do some crazy things during the summer. They bottle lemonade, which is amazing. And then when we're getting into that time of year when eggnog's coming out, and well, you pretty near get run over when people want eggnog. A couple other little items we carry is the one butcher we use is in Krogan. So if I'm driving through Krogan, you got to sell Krogan bologna. So we got some of that in the store. And then we had people asking for, well, why don't you have cheese curd? So a couple weeks ago, we started selling cheese curd. So that's kind of how the store all came about. So.
Yeah, it's a tidy little spot there, and you packed a lot of food in there, a range of products.
Yeah. The beef part, where we get the animals, everything comes from the farm. It's raised on the farm. And when we first started, to back up a little bit, we're a 600 cow dairy. So in 2009, we started DNA testing all of our calves, and they can tell you when they're 2 months old with 80% accuracy if they're going to be a good cow or not. So what do you do with some of the lower animals? Because you don't need to raise them all. So we tried selling some of those, and that was a money-losing proposition. So then we continued raising everything, and we put embryos in the lower quality animals. And we still do that to an extent, but we still had too many heifers. So we took it one step farther, and now we breed 30% of the cows, the lower quality or the older cows, to beef. And that's what you see there. We start 6 to 8 a month, and that's what is supplying the store now for the meat product is crossbred Angus or Limousin Holsteins. So these calves are raised right along with the Holsteins till they're about 5 months old, 6 months old, somewhere's in there, and then we put them in a pen, and they get fed leftovers from the milk cows. So people ask, are they grass fed? Well, there's grass in there. There's corn silage in there, which is a grass, but it's leftovers from the milk cows. And those are diets that are put together by a nutrition that's on the farm every other week. So they've got all the minerals and all the vitamins that the animal needs to excel and grow and produce a good quality animal. It doesn't matter if it's beef or dairy. They all need a nutritious diet. It needs to be balanced, just like your diet's balanced with either your vegetables from Birdsfoot or your apples or all the other farms that you've commented on throughout the summer with your programs. Everything's a balanced diet, and that's what these beef animals are fed.
So one thing that's pretty neat about CNM is the engagement from lots and lots of different family members. And so it sounds like your son raises pigs and your daughter, there's lots of people involved. So tell us more about who's involved with the farm and how.
Well, it's a true family farm. This is an older picture, and I'm sure I'll catch heck from all the kids that are in there that are much older now. But it's a combination of the Terry and Sandy Moulton family and Reg and Mary Jean Chester. The two farms came together in 2008 and merged. It was just a good fit for everybody. So you'll see Amy and Bernie Moulton are their kids, and as they were growing up, they were very involved in the farm, along with my wife Amy and our three kids, Cameron, Brad, and Brittany. So to date, Paige has gone off. Amy and Bernie's daughter has gone off to be a teacher in the Carthage area. Nathan has gone in to try his hand down near Auburn. He works down there. He went to school to be an electrician. My daughter Cameron is currently in Plattsburgh, going to be a teacher for special ed. That's what Paige is doing, is special ed. My son is home on the farm with us, and he does a lot of the equipment operating, and he's got a little hobby farm of his own and raises the pigs that we sell through the store, the pork. He supplies the pork. My daughter Brittany, she has taken over management of pretty much all the help in the dairy sector of C&M beef. So she's the main driver behind the whole dairy and keeps that part going. Bernie takes care of most of the crop work, and I kind of oversee everybody. Mom fed calves and taught school, and Dad's not with us anymore, but he started farming. Funny note, you talked about Birdsfoot. When we started farming in 1970, we were living in the house at Birdsfoot and moved to the farm we're on. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow. That is really, wow. That is wild. I had no idea.
Yep.
Yeah. So you've been in that location for quite a while then, I guess.
Yeah.
Or your father moved to that property.
Yeah, he started in 1970 on a farm just down the road, and we moved to our current location in 79. I can't tell you how many years the Moultons have been farming, but it's like third or fourth or generation. They've been farming for a long time.
So I see your products popping up in different spots. I saw it on the menu at the Blue House restaurant in Madrid. What other businesses do you have relationships with or that sell your products?
The Blue House has been great to work with. Josh, he's quite a chef. He asks what crazy kind of stuff we have that isn't moving real fast, and he'll find a way to use it. We're supplying hamburgers into the smokehouse in Waddington, and this summer he was in the top 10 running for one of the best hamburgers, and that's quite an honor just to have your product used for that. So. But that's what we hear a lot of people coming into the store is they can't. It started with COVID when they couldn't get meat anywhere else, and we had some. And but now that they've got a taste for farm-grown beef, they just absolutely love it. And one of the real cool things for me is we have a handful of people who are cancer patients that were told they can't eat beef anymore because of all the dyes and chemicals in store-bought beef, and now they can come to our farm and they've gone back to eating beef because there are no dyes or chemicals in our beef.
That's a great story, Alan. You have we just have a couple minutes left, so I want to sneak a few things in. I think something neat that we've talked about a little bit before about like the way that different local businesses sort of relate to each other and this concept of competition and how we think about the local food landscape and the larger food system. So I'm curious what your thoughts are about yourself as a local farmer.
Well, I mean, as a local farmer, we've always looked at the neighborhood and see what other people are doing. And I thought it was real neat when you had Martin's Vegetable Farm on there that he kind of brought to life a few things that I'd been thinking about. And one was that we don't need to be in competition with each other. There are 4 other stores or facilities that have popped up where you can buy local meat. And we don't need to be competing with each other. We need to compete with the Walmarts and the Price Choppers. And those are the customers that we need to have come to all these facilities and support the local, because when you spend a dollar or $10 at C&M Beef, that money stays local. We don't go back to headquarters someplace out of the state or wherever it is and contribute to other things. Any money that is, I mean, we go to Canton, LeBurgeon Curtis Rental or Casanova Equipment. We're buying parts there. We're supporting the Tri-Towns and the Red Barns, and everything that comes in to our facility stays local.
Yeah, those interwoven relationships are so essential. And I imagine folks probably don't realize that when they're buying a cut of meat at your farm store, all the other local businesses that they're supporting in the process that you interact with on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I want to make sure people know that your farm store is open year round.
Yeah, that's it sits right next to the house. So we, being our first year in the learning curve, we were running with the fall hours, and then we got into summer and everybody was out on their boat or camping, and we'd have one customer on a Saturday. So we said, this is crazy. So we changed it to Monday through Friday, 1 to 5, or by appointment, and call or stop in. And if we're here, you can get waited on. Starting probably the 1st of October, we're going to go back to our original hours, which were 1 to 5 Wednesday through Friday, and then Saturdays 10 to 3, and still by appointment. So it just my wife works at the school in the cafeteria, and she gets home at 1, so she's here to wait on you, or we fill in until she gets here, and 5 o'clock is supper time. So we're getting close to the house, and if you stop in, you'll still get waited on.
Yeah, so I think you mentioned it, Amy, there is in the store. There's you mentioned the Cabot products, but I don't think we mentioned the maple yet.
No, we didn't. All the maple we make right here on the farm, and it's right next to the store. Just to the right of where my wife's standing is where the sugar house is. So we were hoping that we put a little addition on that last year. We'd get some people coming through and seeing how maple syrup is made. And I think COVID scared some people away still. But yeah, we make maple syrup and maple cream. That was Dad's kind of thing, and now my son is taking it over, and the rest of us help him with it. So we haven't got into the maple candy yet. I guess that might be the next thing. So.
Well, only maybe if your son finds some more hours in the day. We understand if you don't get into maple candy. It's okay.
Well, between his farming and his 3 little girls, he's got his hands full.
There's always lots to do on the farm.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add? I'm certainly curious if you've got any special tips for us about a great way to use one of your favorite cuts, or anything else you want to share with us about the farm.
Well, if you get a tough piece of meat at C&M Beef, I'm not going to say it probably will never happen, because never is a strong word, but it will be very rare that it happen. These animals are only about 12 to 13 months old when we take them to the butcher, and they're weighing 1,200 pounds live weight. So they're growing real well and cared for real well. We have some kind of some odd things that we make here because we have so much Hamburg. We make an all beef sausage, sweet and hot. We make an all beef jerky burger patty, which people are just going crazy for. But I think on top of all that, one of my favorite recipes is a cranberry chuck roast in the slow cooker. It's just unbelievable. If you like cranberries, we had the recipe on our Facebook page, and it's just, oh my goodness, it's like turkey, unbelievable.
It sounds really good. Well, excellent. It's really nice to talk with you, Alan, and learn a bit more about your farm. And we want to give away your generous prize. It sounds like people can come and choose their cuts of meat at the farm store when we give away this $25 gift certificate.
You bet. It's good for anything in the store they want.
Excellent. Well, good luck with corn chopping. Thanks so much, Alan.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we get to prize time, I want to make sure folks know we have these showcases once a month, the third Wednesday of every month. So We want you to tune in next month in October. We have a great program lined up. We have Kent Family Growers, a produce grower, Rock Hollow Farm, who raises alpacas, and Foster the Plant Cafe, who incorporates local produce and maybe fruit, local produce into their menus. So it's prize time now, but mark your calendar for October 20th, and let's get Lauren back in here. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Flip. We
Ready to
have so excited. We have a $25 gift certificate to give away to C&M Beef at their farm store. But I do have to ask you one last question before we wrap up tonight.
Okay, go ahead.
What do you call a cattle that tells jokes?
I wish I had Alan here. Can I phone a friend? I don't know what.
Laughing stock.
Oh, Alan, have you heard that one before? Nice. Okay, let's get the prize time in here. Here we go.
All right. And the winner is Carolyn. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Carolyn. It sounds like you're going to have a road trip to C&M Beef to choose your favorite cuts. Remember, folks, buy local, as all of our guests tonight on the program made clear. You're helping support their livelihoods, their families, and all the businesses of our region. So reach out anytime if you have food preservation or cooking questions. Here at the Learning Farm, we love to help people find where to find stuff and then how to prepare it. If you want to check out the Fruition blog, remember to check that out at blogcornell.edu/Fruition. And otherwise, Lauren and I will be back with you in October to share the October live stream showcase. Thank you all so much. Good night.